All right, Smackdown one day before Royal Rumble. Now, there's certain things I'm going to address right now. I am working on the Gump Report for the Netflix Gump Report. I've already looked through it. I want to say this right now. I'm going to say it also on that video. It was hard finding some information about the Netflix. Honestly, you think, well, you can always check and see if there's anything new. And I did on not one site, but 5 different sites. And the only thing that's prevalent is about Vince. So it's been a little more difficult than I thought. Now, I know you're going to say, dude, there's plenty of information. No, I only found 2 or maybe 3 separate bits about Netflix and TKO WWE. And I'm also going to do a little more research about Slim Jims. If you haven't heard, Slim Jims is pulled away from WWE. I don't know if it's permanent. I don't know if it's for the Royal Rumble. I have to check. I just know it has happened. I'm going to be researching that a little bit if I can find anything more. And I will be adding that to my Gump Report. So that's that. Just so you guys know, I am working on it. Hopefully it'll be done by Monday or maybe Sunday. You'll actually be able to see it Sunday or Monday. Don't know yet. The Vince video will not be done yet. I am leaving it alone. Like I said, more information is going to come out. And I want more information. Yes, there's a lot about the paperwork that's done for the lawsuit. I want to see if there's more information that can be elaborated on. Because there was some questions about when they talked about Brock. That's all I'm saying about Brock. There was a lot of accusations. And I'd rather let more information come out when it's going with the lawsuit before I say anything. Even though I am not an authority, I'm just giving my interpretation and my opinion. I'm making it clear, like when it comes to a lot of people, they're not all saying that. They're saying whatever they want. I'm just giving an opinion. And it's not an accusation. It's not actual fact. It's just my opinion on the information available. It is not 100% factual what the courts are saying. I'm giving what little information I can understand and my take on it. So I am leaving it for a bit to let it marinate because JD ran to it like a bullet because, well, he's working, he needs to make his money, he needs to have the views. Just Alex the same way. I'm not them. I'm going to give you the best I can give and not worry about trying to make money from the thing I'm doing that I love, which is pro wrestling, podcasting. I'm not doing that, so I'm going to wait a bit. But there's one last thing I got to talk about before SmackDown, and it's to address one guy. I call him Stefan, but his name is Steven, I believe. He is a lover of, and we're going away from WWE to TNA. He's upset. My friend, if you see this video, listen to me. Be calm. Take a breath. If you guys don't know, if you haven't looked at the TNA review in the comments, my boy has made it very clear he is upset. He is pissed a little bit, even though on top of me not mentioning Swinger's name on the review, which I'm doing it here because, honestly, I have told you this before, my friend. There's a strong possibility, as I told you months ago when they were talking about switching over, that you will not see much of Swinger. I told you this. I told you there was a good chance you would not see him, and you had agreed, but as it sounds in your comments, you're going through Swinger withdrawal. Calm down, take a breath. I know that withdrawal, it sucks. You're a Swinger fan. You're addicted to Swinger. But you need to breathe. Breathe. Swinger is not the be-all, end-all. Breathe. Swinger is not the best. Breathe. I'm trying to help you cope. I'm not trying to be cruel. I'm trying to help you cope when you're not seeing him. There's no guarantee we'll see him next week or the week after. I don't know. I don't know if he's still working for the company. I think he still is. But either they're revamping, and that's something you're going to have to deal with. As much as you love Swinger, if he's still working for the company and he will be on TV, he may not come back as Johnny Swinger. Yeah. The Swingman may not exist anymore. So you better, and I repeat again, and I know you won't listen, but I am expecting you, maybe you'll listen. Better prepare yourself. You just asked me, would he be good to work with Ash Elegance? As Johnny Swinger, the old, no. It will mess up her character. As much as you think it would be hilarious, it will not work. You want to mess up Ash of Elegance? That sexy piece of ass for your Johnny Swinger? That shows you're not really caring that much about TNA. You care more about Johnny than TNA. And much as you say you love TNA, you're caring more about Johnny. So I'm telling you now, he can't work with Ash of Elegance, even though anybody would, because they want to look at that ass of elegance. That ass of elegance, not Ash. I'm calling her ass. But let's make it clear. There is no guarantee if Johnny's still working with the company, he will stay the same way. The company wants to be more serious. This is what you get. I told you this months ago. So we don't know if he's still working for the company. If he does, he's either working in the back or they're about to reset him to something else. There's no guarantee he will come back, and if he does, I'm happy for you. But there's a strong chance if he's still there and they're about to re-debut him, he may not be the Johnny Swinger you love, and he may not even be a comedian anymore. He may be something entirely different that's not funny as you want him to be. Now, let's go to SmackDown. I'm sorry, guys. I know this took 6 minutes to do everything else along with this. I had to do it. The guy's a nice guy. I believe, it's a guy. And he loves Johnny. So I had to say this. I'll give you this. There wasn't a lot on this show. Yes, there were some things that were alright that's supposed to be there. But to be honest, some of the stuff should be already on Royal Rumble. LWO versus Legado del Fantasma. In other words, Santos Escobar versus Carlito. I didn't care about this match. Now, it was not about the match quality. I want to make this clear. It was not about the match quality. The storytelling was garbage. Let's make this clear. There is no Rey because he got injured. Carlito should have been the one to deal with this situation along with Dragon Lee working there with the LWO. There's no Dragon Lee. He's still spending time at NXT, which makes no sense. If he's on the main roster, why is he going more in NXT than the main roster? Why'd you bring him up if you didn't think he was capable of handling it? He should be working the main roster because he's been shown there. Then you got Carlito, who is really good on NXT. People really care more about him there than on SmackDown, and he had more care there than here. Because where is the story? There's nothing. They tried to give us a story where Carlito comes in and he's hated by Santos because Carlito seemed to be loved more by Rey because he knew him more. Santos gets mad, he leaves, he recreates Legado del Fantasma again. And instead of it being Carlito leading it, there was no leader. There's been no leader. There's been no Dragon Lee to be the new member of the LWO. And there's been no Carlito to lead El Toro and Joaquin Wild. Nothing. So this has been a dead story. Now, if anyone loves it, more power to you. But as far as I'm concerned, it was about Carlito dealing with Santos Escobar, and there's been nothing. And now we finally get a match which should have happened months ago, about maybe at least a month ago, here before Royal Rumble, which doesn't help Carlito, and it doesn't help Santos Escobar and his team. Now we get a good match, and then we get Elektra Lopez showing up, who helps to basically screw over the match so Santos wins. But does that mean, and I'm saying this now, if she's now gone to the main roster, she needs to be. She should have been there at least about a year ago. She should have been working with Santos Escobar when he left. But now, if she really is with Legado del Fantasma now, it makes perfect sense because she was always the mouthpiece for them. She was always the heater for them. She was always the sex thing we loved about one of the parts of Legado del Fantasma. And now, I don't know if she will be. Because she's still working on NXT, and I'm sure she's going to be still dealing with Lola Vice. Does it mean she'll be on the main roster all the time? Probably not. She's just going to be sporadic, which they need her all the time. But maybe they will. Let's find out eventually. Now, this is a match that should have happened on Royal Rumble. But they're throwing it here because I think they don't believe there's going to be enough time to do it. And that is the tag champions, Carter and Chance, versus the Kabuki. This pisses me off. They say they care about the women, but why was this match being done here on SmackDown instead of Royal Rumble? Why? Why? Unless they're going to have another match on Royal Rumble tomorrow, this is it. They're just going to show up on Royal Rumble and show up for the match. That's it. They're not going to have the tag. And I'm sure people say, dude, they need the women. They got 30 women to fill, so they did it here. Many people say, yeah, but why couldn't they just get other women from the perform? You got so many women that are working on NXT. If you only have a certain amount on Raw and SmackDown, fill the rest with NXT stars to give them exposure. If you're only going to use main roster and very few, maybe 2 or 3, if we're lucky, 3 NXT stars, I'll be glad if there's 5. But if you're only going to do 2 or 3 NXT stars, the rest are main roster and people returning, possibly like a Naomi. And now being rumored again of a Sasha Banks, which I don't think she will, but you never know. With Naomi, may still show up, but we still don't know yet if she's going to show up there tomorrow. Fill it up with NXT wrestlers. You got tons of women that are still in NXT you could do something with. Lola Vice. You got, here, go through the roster of current NXT. Fallon, Hale, and pretty much Davenport. Pretty much Paxley. You got Roxanne Perez. You got JC James. You got, how many more? At least another 4 more women. Why not fill them up with them and give them the exposure? No. There's not going to be probably a Nikita Lyons that's going to show up on Royal Rumble when they should be showing all those women that are on NXT that are eventually supposed to come up to the main roster. Why not show Paxley? Show Petrovic. What, all these women I'm talking about, and there's possibly only going to be, 3, maybe 5 women from NXT? That's if it's going to be that many. If it's going to be that many. I'm just saying. This angers me. The Kabuki Warriors should not be in the Royal Rumble. They shouldn't be in there. If they're wrestling in the Royal Rumble, this makes it stupid. You could have waited until next SmackDown to do this then. I'm just saying. The Kabuki Warriors won. Fine. I don't really care. Because they shouldn't be doing it here. They should have a signature pay-per-view. Well, PLE. A Royal Rumble. Why throw it on a... Calm down. I'm getting angry. They're saying they care about the women when it should be a match at Royal Rumble. They say they care about the fucking women, and this should be a match at Royal Rumble. They should not be wrestling, and if they are, they should do double work. Why is it here? You don't care about the tag titles if you're going to make them do it here. Moving on. Austin Fury versus Mello, which is a repeat of what happened last time because of the botch. It was a fine match. It wasn't bad. And Fury won due to the fact of a lot of interference by the Grayson Waller. But then, as they're beating down on Mello, we get Trick Williams coming out, and he gets a big cheering, and they're doing whoop that trick. He's already become popular on the main roster, even though he hasn't been there. The catchphrase caught on, and they know who he is. That's good. And then he comes out, and Mello is like, come on. He says, I came here because of what happened for us doing the Dusty Classic. That's why I'm here. I'm here because of the Dusty Classic. Because we're wrestling. And then Mello gets, where the hell is this coming from like this? So that means they are making sure that they kept the story that's on NXT on the main roster. Good. Still a question of Mello trusting Trick or Trick trusting Mello. Because there's also a very weird thing that could be happening. I could be wrong, but you may get my point. If it is what I think, I will eventually talk about it. Okay. let me give it to you like this. When you saw the people in the back picking their ball for what position in Royal Rumble, was it funny? It wasn't bad. Seeing Ava there made perfect sense. But she's got a lot. I'm going to tell you this. Ava Raine has a lot to prove as a general manager. Because she hasn't shown what she can truly do yet. And it's still very early days. We know Nick Aldis. I know I can trust Nick to do his job. He proved it already. So Ava's got a lot of work to do to prove that she can be the general manager of NXT. Because at this moment, she still feels like an errand girl for HBK. I'm being honest here. She still feels it. And she can be dressed whatever she wants, which that's a major issue. Instead of her dressing like a professional woman should, she's still dressing like she did. Like I said, she still feels like an errand girl. She needs to dress professional. That's not professional. It looks like she's still the old Ava Raine. I'm just saying. It's just me. I'm just saying. She doesn't need to dress like a wrestler would. She needs to dress like a businesswoman. Kind of like the way Stephanie used to dress. It's the only way I would actually believe that she's legitimate. For me. Anybody else is fine with her. For me, she doesn't feel like anything yet. And she doesn't dress the part. She better dress the part eventually. Or at least convince me that she doesn't need to dress the part to get over as a general manager. I'm just saying. Finally, let me give it to you like this. Opening of the show and the final match. Seeing that, I was kind of surprised to see that Randy Orton knew a famous... Well, let me give it to like this. Seeing that it was not him opening, it was his friend. And I don't keep up with Spanish music. Or any type of artist. I am really behind. I've never really been like that. I like music. I recognize certain people. But keeping up with really famous singers or dancers is not something I normally do. I'll know about them. So this guy, I really don't know about him because I don't keep up with that type of music. But seeing that he's a famous recording artist and that he came out to introduce Randy is a cool thing. So there's no problem. I'm actually cool with that. And we get the opening. And here's the thing. The thing that I might have missed it, and I did miss the first couple of minutes of SmackDown. They didn't say anything about Kevin Patrick leaving. Because we do know Kevin's gone. He has been released. He hasn't been repositioned as a reporter or maybe going down to NXT and work there. No, he's been released from WWE. If you don't know yet, guys, Kevin Patrick is gone. He's been released from WWE. And the one who spoke for him was Sheamus, that he was proud that he worked with another Irishman and that he hopes he does something great. So he's done. And now one night only we got a Corey Graves and a Michael Cole. So I don't know who they're going to replace him with. Maybe it'll be Vic Joseph, which I'm kind of hoping not, because I like Vic Joseph. I'm not going to say Vic is one of the greatest guys, but I like Vic on NXT with Booker T. But I don't know who they're going to replace him with. They're going to have to replace him with somebody. But we did get the opening. It wasn't that bad, but it was kind of a rehash of last week where you got AJ mad as hell. You got LA Knight mad as hell and making sure they're both going to get their positions when it comes to the Fatal 4-Way. Then you got LA making it very clear that he was wondering, how come I'm the only one that gets a match, unlike everybody else? But it don't matter. I'm going to whip some ass. And pretty much that was his stick. And he gets the match at the end of the night with Solo. Solo also got his marching orders from a Paul Heyman. Now, let me give it to you like this. And I'm glazing over most of this because if you watch the show, you already know it. I don't really have to do a heavy recap. What did I think of the final segment of the show where it's mainly about Randy? Yeah, they gave LA his moment at the end once he did the blunt force trauma to Randy Orton. But knowing that AJ ruined the match, that he basically got this moment with Jimmy, awkwardly Jimmy, trying to coax him to get rid of LA Knight because then it'll be easier for him to go up against Roman Reigns when he knows 100% if he does that, he's still going to have to deal with Solo and Jimmy. And he decides after the chair was slid to him, instead of using an LA Knight and being told by not but Jimmy but also Solo, who he just seen a match with LA Knight, saying, do it now, you better get it done, and then he nails them both. And then Roman isn't there, so that means Randy comes out, nails Solo, nails Jimmy, and then gets a little bit back on AJ before LA gets his moment. This still feels like it's about Randy Orton. Now, am I against that? No, I'm not against it. It's good to see that the crowd still responds to him heavily. And you could tell Randy is not acting condescending as he's come back. I remember when he was on the Broken Skull sessions, more than just before he got injured. He was gone for 18 months. He said clearly that I didn't understand and know how to really help to put people over and how to really play into my character. He does now. He understands that he can't make it about himself. He was a selfish bastard. He made it very clear he was. But he understands better now how to care about people, how to do promos better, because he wants to put himself into it. Before he didn't that well, or not at all. But now he does, and he comes off much more legitimate. So that's a good thing. Honestly, it is. But now, I'm sure people may think that he's being a condescending prick a little bit, and that's part of his character. No, it's just that he's trying to get people more over. Like in the beginning of the show, when AJ was talking to him, and you can see him going with the LA Knight, going like this. He's really trying to get LA over and AJ over. He's legitimately trying to do it. He's not trying to make it about himself anymore. He loves doing what he's doing, particularly he knows he doesn't have a long time to last. He's been told he shouldn't be going in the ring anymore because of his lower back. He just had, double or triple fusion lower back surgery? I think double or triple, I can't remember. He's got to know. He only has a certain shelf life. And he's going to be done soon. So he wants to legitimately love what he's doing and getting people over. And it's going to look like it's condescending because he's going to try and sell as much as he can of some other people. And it's going to piss people off. Eventually, I can see it. But for me personally, I can see what he's doing. But that's just me. Hope you enjoy this. See you at Royal Rumble. Peace.